What do I have here? Welcome to the podcast. Right, I'm your host, Joba Adeomi, and I will be hosting the podcast throughout this season and the next season, and then the next season after that, and what follows up. Right, but I won't be the only one talking. We'll have guests, and then I might have special people too. Right, we'll be talking about life. I won't like talk about like life in like a big perspective, bro. We'll be talking about like different aspects to life. Life is not just life. There are things in life, right? So we could let's say fear. Fear is it's like an everyday part of life, right? So people experience fear every day. We can talk about stuff like that, and then we'll also be dealing with societal things that have to do with the society, as I would say. Things like let me check my journal here. Talk about like social issues like school. This will also strike. We can talk about school, university, secondary school, how it shapes the society, how people went through it, and different stuff like that. Talk about parents, how parents treat their children, and how does it affect them later in life. We can also be talking about money. Money is like a very very big key factor, very very big factor in the whole life perspective. Because in this generation, when everyone just money, here, money there, money everywhere. So let's actually talk about money, right? So that podcast, that episode, I'll need to bring someone that has money, right, to talk with us, so he can explain to us the whole material possession stuff. Then we talk about social media and how it shapes our society and how people deal with the negative aspects of social media and the positive aspects of social media, right? Societal pressure and random different stuff. I can't list it off for you because then it won't be too exciting. You need to like wake up one morning and just like fresh new episode with a title of you never expected, or like we're talking about something that you never expected to something like that. So if you already know what is happening or what's coming in, there won't be like any element of suspense to it, so there won't be any fun to it, as I would say. Right. Introduction about the podcast. I think I've given that. Then I've given what's it, and we'll be talking about life, talking about things that are for self-improvement. I'm not just talking about life to jump on it, or just like, knowledge is useful though, but not just to jump on it, to actually apply it, because knowledge without applying it is kind of, how will I put it, like sand you input in your foundation. It's just going to be there, and then erosion is going to carry the sand away to unknown places, right? So you need knowledge and actually apply the knowledge. So everything we're learning from this podcast to be able to apply it in our actual everyday lives. So that's something to keep out of self-improvement, self-development, things that keep you motivated, things that keep you creative, things that make you look at life in a different way, right? Because this my motive, or like my idea, my philosophy, or I'll put it like that, is to all I put is like invite people or show people the gift of open-mindedness, right? Someone that is open-minded. You can see the difference between someone that is conservative, someone that is open-minded. You can see how life relates to the both of them. People that are open-minded end up living happier lives because they are open to new experiences, open to new ideas, to new knowledge. So people that are conservative are always sticking to their old values and stuff like that. And then when the values change, just like imagine a conservative person, right, driving a gas-powered car in the year 2060. I mean, who will be doing that by then? Like holding to the gas-powered car, like everyone has left that island like 20 years ago. So that's the difference. You need to create open-minded people and free thinkers. Very, very importantly, we need open-minded people and free thinkers, because the people that shape the world, when I put it like that, people that shape the world, that create our future, created internet. I mean, people that have little ambition. I mean, people that are just stay in the house all day and they hate on everyone and they're always aggressive and stuff like that. People that aren't ready to actually critical think outside the box, outside the norm of society. All the inventions that you're seeing today, the whole Elon Musk, SpaceX stuff, Tesla. I mean, you can say to a conservative person or someone that isn't open-minded, or a free thinker, we say like that, someone that isn't open to new experiences. Like 30 years ago, let's say 1990, that in the year 2000 we have electric cars, and the person would be like, no, I mean, gas-powered cars are really okay for us. You get what I mean? So they wouldn't have, and if everyone was thinking that way, we wouldn't evolve in life. So the thing about the society we live in now is that everybody gets cancelled when you have your own opinion. I mean, some people's opinions are, you know what I mean, right? And then some opinions are actually factual, right? And that's what we need. We need people to be able to look at two opinions and be like, is this opinion based on bias? Do you just hate the person, or are you saying actual facts? Right? That's what we need in life. We need people that can actually critical think, get information from anywhere, and actually think about it that, can this actually happen? Can this go like this and go like this, right? Because free thinkers are the guys that shape the future. I can be a free thinker and say that, okay, in the next 20 years, we wouldn't be using smartphones anymore. We might have embedded chips in our brain. I don't know about that though, but you can say like smart glasses and stuff like that, everything being AR, VR, headset, and things can actually happen like that, because we should talk about that in life, of a topic about dreams and visions and how they actually mold and shape your life, right? So, I said why I'm doing the podcast, right, to help people, and because I didn't give my introduction, right? So I'm Jova Adeomi. I'm a software engineer, like a programmer also. I do web applications, I do mobile applications. I also have some side projects, as I say, that I'll be working on later, right? But podcast is one of something I wanted to. I always had passion to speak to people, like actually give them information, like wisdom and knowledge, because I kind of see that I feel like I want to dedicate my life to the pursuit of knowledge. Yeah, sounds boring. People want to make a lot of money. People want to make billions of dollars, and that's what they want to do in their life, and then have houses in different areas in the world, and blah 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 blah. But money is there, right? Money is something that you need. You cannot say you want to be the wisdom man of the world and not have a house to live in, for sure, right? But I seek purpose in knowledge, in understanding, wisdom, right? So that's what I want to share with everyone, because I believe knowledge that is acquired, right? Knowledge that someone has and isn't shared is being wasted, right? If you look at the great, smartest people in our world lineage, you can look at Solomon in the Bible. Solomon was wisest person in the world, you grab what I mean? And he actually shared his knowledge with the Bible verses that he has, his Proverbs, and we have Songs of Solomon. Okay, sorry. So you can see he actually shared his wisdom. You can talk about Albert Einstein, the smartest guys that created all these formulas and stuff like that, and E is equals to MC squared, stuff like that. He had the knowledge, right? But he shared the knowledge with the world, and that was what made an actual impact. Someone that is wise can also have the knowledge, right? But someone that is that is smart and wise will have the knowledge and actually share, because knowledge that you have is just wasted and stuff like that. We talk about the current state of the society. Now that is a very, very hot topic. It could even be like a segment in the podcast. The current state of the society. We could do it every week, every month, every 2 months, every time. I'm sharing the knowledge for you guys. So if you can put your input and I'll suggest the time that you want for us to like schedule it. Right. I think we talked about the current state of the society. I think we've talked about that. Then I talk about how I started the podcast, but I eventually stopped it. If you know me personally, which I guess you would not know me personally, I started the podcast around was it May? I think a friend of mine, Benjamin, he started his own podcast, and I was like, damn, I want to get into that stuff, right? So then he walked me through the whole process of the whole podcast and thing, right? Then I started actually. I was so determined to do that I set up the whole podcast stuff in like 2 or 3 days. I designed the whole logo. My brother looked at the logo recently and was like, looks like all this child projects like Primary 2 or something like that. The logo looks kind of simple. The logo looks kind of simple, but it's like find something better to do there. We'll just leave it like that. But to me, it looks colorful though, right? I did the logo, I did the whole podcast thing, connected it to almost all the podcast streaming platforms I know. So luckily for you, everything is set down. You get on Spotify, get on Anchor, you get it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. I think there are some like podcasts out there, Rocket Podcasts, and there are some weird ones that have some specific kind of weird names. It's also an audio mark too, if you're an audio mark listener, right? It's not on Deezer. Yeah, so I started the podcast. I recorded an episode with a friend of mine again, Kaide, right? I recorded an episode with him, but at that point in time, I wasn't really sure. I knew I wanted to do the podcast live. I knew I wanted to talk about actual stuff, but I didn't really plan it at that point in time. So it was more of the excitement of doing something new, right? So I recorded an episode with Kaide, right? And I can tell you that episode was the saddest episode that we might have during this whole podcast. That episode was really, really, really unjoyful, very sad. And I was like, I was editing the podcast at some point. I was editing it, and he had bad network, so I had to cut some parts in different but I say like a B audio roll. I talked over the parts, like description and stuff like that. And then I kind of sat down with it and I was like, this isn't it. If I go to this podcast and be going to their beds crying. And then when I was editing a podcast, like listening to it back to back, listening to it for some days, and I was like, this is very sad. Like someone that listened to the podcast just listen to the podcast happy and then end up being sad. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. I didn't want to achieve it that way. So then I took a dive on it. Actually, I got some input because unfortunately, or well, let's say fortunately, whatever. I don't talk to a lot of people, right? And I had someone that I was able to talk to about the podcast, and he was like, he kind of shut me down on it. I won't like name him personally, but he kind of shut me down on the podcast. And at that point in time, I took it as a very big loss, right? The guy was like, I was like, I have a podcast to try and listen to it. And he was like, what is the name? I told him, the name of the podcast is Life. He was like, Life. I was like, yeah, sure, Life. It's about life. And he was like, I know you're a tech guy, right? Why don't you just do a podcast on tech? I was like, yeah, tech is cool and all, but I want to talk about life. That's what I want to talk about in podcast. Tech can be, we talk about tech another day, another time, right? But the podcast is for life. And he was like, why would I want to listen to you? I was like, at that point in time, the guy I just started going for like a steep decline, yeah. And I was like, why would I even listen to you? And you're not even experienced. You're not experienced something so delicate as life. Life is something that everybody lives, right? So why would you not tell me? Why would you be telling me about something I live every single day? I was like, bro, but I can. He was like, no, like for real. Like, you can't tell me your experience in life that me. I was like, at that point in time, I was like, no, I'm not experienced because he's older than me, right? And then it was like, so why would I allocate specific time in my day to listen to your podcast when I know you're not more experienced than me? What are you bringing to the table? And I can't remember the whole conversation, but at that point in time, it was really sad, man. That day I was really sad, and then as the devil has had it, or will I say as God had it, because I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing that I didn't start at that point in time. It's only time to tell, right? So I paused the podcast. I was continuing my programming stuff. I was like, let's continue programming, right? So now that's May, June, July, August, September, and we're here. Wow, finally here. Right? So that's like +1 for all of us. I think I started it around May 6th, right? I can remember that date. Something I won't forget. Yeah, I won't forget. So now, if I would reply to him with the knowledge I have now, will I say with the knowledge I have now, I would tell him that people live their life every day, but most people, will I say most people, like 90% of people that live their life, or 95%, this is not like like this actual number, but I'm just speculating it. Like 95% of people that live their life don't actually know the actual meaning of life, right? So I could be in school every day, reading and writing tests and writing exams, I graduate, whatever. But I might not actually know the actual meaning, the actual value of school. And until someone told me the actual value of school, I wouldn't cherish it. I wouldn't understand. I wouldn't have made those mistakes I made that cost me maybe like a B minus in maths or something. I would have got an A, right? So that would be actually nice if there were like some set of instructions that were given to everybody on how to live your life in the most fulfilling, happiness possible way. Let's say happiness possible, happiness bringing way, purpose fulfilling way, passion fulfilling way, and money fulfilling way. Put it like that. That would be nice. That would be something that everyone would have in their pocket, and that is the Bible, right? But what I'm trying to say is that if I can bring something like that to the table, then I think I'm doing good to society, and I'm just being a bystander, because with the kind of knowledge I have, let's say the kind of knowledge I have, I kind of understand the fact that everyone has everything that they. So I end up not being a hater. I'm not a hater. I don't hate anything that anyone does. If you're doing left, do left. You're doing right, do right. You're doing middle, do middle. I mean, that's when everyone's living their own life, right? So that's why I see it. I see things like that. I don't see hates. I'm a big Apple fan, right? But the me of January, the Samsung fan come to me and tell me and we could just be arguing over iPhone 11 or wherever, crap share. And then the me of now, the Samsung fan will come to me and be like, have you seen the latest Samsung phone? I'll be like, wow, that's pretty cool. I like it. I like the design. I like the spec sheets, stuff like that. You could have done it more better than the cameras and things like that. And they'll be like, oh, bro, man, are you, what's going on here? Because I've changed the way I see life. I've changed the way I think about life, and that's something that we all need to do. So like actually live life. I'm not saying love life here, but just grab the context here. Like how do I put this now? You need like an understanding of the way things move. Or let's say like an engineer. You can go to school and study engineering, computer engineering, electrical engineering, whatever, and then 4 years you're done. Yeah, you might have the certificate in paper, right? Like people that you have lived your life in paper, 1991 to 2057, whatever, right? So you might have that certificate on paper, right? You died this day, or born this day, and died this day. But did you actually know the moving parts? If you're an electrical engineer, right, you've studied 4 years in university, do you actually know the moving parts in what you do, what you studied, what you lived? Just like what we're trying to say now, you lived your life this year to this year, but did you actually know the moving parts in life? How you could have done things better, how you could have not made mistakes in year and year, how you could have been the wisest person in the room, right? In times where you needed it the most, right? So this is like the basic instruction. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, right? I'm not the wisest guy in the world. I'm not the most experienced guy in the world. But from what I've seen in history and the greats and everything, smartest people, bravest people, you don't need to be the best in something. You don't need to be the most experienced in something to make an impact, right? So I believe I'll talk about the benefits of the podcast, how it can guide you and structure you and make you a better person, getting to be a better person each day, and consistent with what you're doing, and how do I put this now? Be the best version of yourself. How you can be the best version of yourself, right? We talk about minded people and free thinkers. How those kind of people that actually think, people that actually shape the society. If you didn't have sages or wise people or artists or musicians or philosophers and poets and stuff, life would kind of be boring. Yeah, we tell you like scientists and whatever, right? But the people that actually dream are people that actually create the world. So you need to be that kind of visionary person that's thinking about doing things differently and because there's always that saying that if you're following the crowd, then you're probably doing something wrong. I'm not sure about that. Might not be correct in every instance, but it's a pretty general thing. I need to like understand that if you're doing what everybody's doing, then you're just following the crowd. You're not making an actual impact, right? And that's something we need. We need free thinkers. We need people that are willing to change the status quo. We are willing to do things differently for the benefit of society, right? Talking about forging your own path. We would be talking about forging your own path, doing something that is different from what society expects from you and everything. Society expects that you work in 9 to 5 or something, I don't know. And they're like, no, I don't want to work in 9 to 5. I want to be a podcaster, right? I want to be a YouTube journalist and then interview people, influential people or whatever, what sorts. And at that point in time, I'm like, shit it down, like, bro, we're going to be broke as hell. Yeah, sure, we'll be broke for the first few years, whatever. But if you actually have something you're striving to be, life kind of puts it for you. Life kind of structures it for you. Right? Universe does not revolve around you, of course, but the way you think affects the way you visualize reality, and that now affects reality in general. So the way you visualize reality now affects the way you actually how do I put this? The way you visualize reality affects the way you act to reality or react to reality, right? And if you react to reality in a better way, you may actually get better outcomes, right? If you're the kind of person that that because I recorded this episode. I think I recorded it about. I was talking about like I think I've talked about this stuff before, around like 20-30 minutes, and just for me to check it and I see that the recording stopped at a way longer time. I was like really, 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 really down. Like, this is the devil trying to fuck me up here. Well, I'm recording now, so you can put it like that, right? So we'll be talking about forging your own path and being a master of your own self, doing your own thing, doing what you feel like doing what your heart desires, passion and everything. I didn't say go out and be a serial killer. I mean, I have a problem. I don't have a problem with when people are doing. I'm a very neutral person. You do you, do left, do right, middle, center, forward, back. I mean, that's you. But I'm trying to be positive here. Do actual positive things, not just do things for yourself, centeredness and everything. Because at the end of the day, people kind of put this thing in their mind, like when I die, nobody's going to remember me. For sure, when you die, everybody's going to move on. But people will remember what you created, where you had an impact on. I mean, nobody at this, no scientist, no physicists will tell them that he has forgotten about Einstein or the guy that wrote the equation. I just keep saying about Einstein. Right? The kind of thing, people might have forgotten him, just regular random scientists, this thing. But what he created, what he impacted people with, his equations, his theories, stuff like that, I think people will forget it because it's still relevant to this day. And it's something that you want to strive to do. Try to bring out content, bring out quality content, whatever you're doing. Impact the society in a way that people might forget you 100 years later, whatever. Right? But what you left behind is, people might not remember you like personally, people might move on. But what you created, that's what people remember for sure. And people don't remember Jesus personally. But what he did, what Jesus did, now that's what people remember. And that's something that you might want to try to do. People might be like, oh, live for yourself, live for yourself, enjoy yourself, whatever. But try and create something, try and do something that impacts your society, impacts the world. Because to me, I believe that that's where the actual fulfillment of life is. Actually, being good, being nice, and impacting society, right? I might just be talking in my own general perspective here. People might have different life missions, life purposes, and stuff. People might have different interpretations of a fulfilled life, happy life, whatever, good life. So it's just like an opinion, right? So topics we could be touching on, I think I've talked about that, I'm not sure. Talking about social issues, whatever, that we could do it like a bi-weekly or part of the podcast, like a segment on its own. Then we have topics, dreams, despair, fear, anxiety, same thing, death, success, failure, self-improvement, podcast about self-improvement. So that series of episodes might be important, right? We have purpose, we have passion, we have consistency, and we have other stuff. Serenity, that's something that I believe is like the penultimate of character. Someone that is very, very calm. That's someone I wish to be, or I should be, and I strive if they to be that kind of person that's very, very calm, very, 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 very relaxed about things. Just imagine you're in a very, very pressure situation. Very, 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 very loud. Just imagine in a pressure situation and everyone is all panicking and you just see someone like really calm about it. And it might actually just make you calm to something like, oh, this guy's calm. Like, I mean, I'm calm too. But people are generally calm. People want to relate to them. Like, people want to relate to, if you're buying something from a shop or whatever, you want to relate to someone that is calm rather than someone that isn't reasonable. You want to relate to buy something from someone that is reasonable, or actually listen to what you're saying and not just act spontaneously or whatever, just spontaneously combust or something like that. But you want to relate to someone that is calm, that is peaceful, is in peace with himself, and to achieve serenity. Is it serenity, whatever. It's kind of an understanding of life. So when you understand life in its own general perspective, in the perspective of cause and effect, right? Then you're just really calm about it, right? Some people say understanding life is kind of sad because then you know why things happen and why things don't happen and stuff like that. The knowledge can be good knowledge, can be bad knowledge, can be sad knowledge, can be angry, whatever. So that's up for you to decide. Right? So I won't name the episodes in full detail, but just like things we could be talking about, right? So it's been nicer if you check the podcast every week with something spontaneous, something new, something different each day, each week, whatever. But if we already know what's going to come out in the podcast, then it won't really be too exciting, and people like suspense, right? So just wait for the next episode to know what we're going to talk about, right? And then if you would like to be a guest, right? If you would like to be a guest in the podcast, send me a tweet, email me, WhatsApp me if you have my number. You can send me an email. I would see it and I reply, I may reply. Depends on the situation. But if you'd like to be a guest, if you're a listener, if you're an observer and like to talk on the podcast about situations concerning you or something that you're really passionate about that's concerning the general of the podcast, the general of the self-improvement kind of this and life and self-improvement things, you could inform me and just tell me about yourself, like your strong suits and what you like to talk about, because I cannot just be invited to a football podcast and I'm not that strong in football, I'm not a football guy, and I cannot just ask the question of how many goals Ronaldo scored in 2017, like I don't know how many goals, right? So that's something you need to tell me like what you do, your strong suit, and what you would like to talk about, and what kind of episode you would like me to put you on. You grab what I mean, right? So listeners, observers, viewers, haters, if you want to say something contradictory, well, open-minded, yeah, free to your mind. Don't just say things that are irrational, right? So I like people that have different views, that we would like to listen to their different views, but be rational about it. Like, actually say meaningful stuff. Don't come here and just be saying gibberish or whatever. But it's like, bro, what are you saying? You got it. So rounding up, I want to thank you all for listening to this podcast, listening to this episode. It might not be the longest episode ever recorded in podcast history. Might not be the shortest, might not be the most fun episode, but first episode is a nice one. Right, and I just thank you all for listening to it. I hope to be working with you guys in the next few weeks, months, years. I want to do back podcasts in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and see how I've really come and to be a community and to help one another and impact one another, right? Because why would I be bringing out content? Why would I create stuff? Why would I be a content creator, a programmer, whatever, and a podcaster, and I don't impact people with what I create? I mean, to me, there's no sense of purpose in that. Like, bringing out something that doesn't impact anyone isn't worthwhile, right? So if you're being impacted, send me a message, tell me about it, tell me what I do better, tell me what I did worse, whatever. You can be a guest, you can send me a message, send me WhatsApp if you have my number, Twitter, send me a direct message or ask me. I might see it, man, so email I'll probably see. Send me a Snapchat if you have it, an email. Facebook, send me a video message. I probably might not see that, but you could try if you have it, and wherever you see me. Right, so luckily the podcast will be everywhere, available for everyone to listen to, enjoy. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, We have Google Podcasts and what's the name of yours? Rock Podcast, Acon Podcast. I'm sorry, I think there's Podcaster. I mean, I think they're on like 7 different platforms, right? I think they're on 7 different platforms. So you could listen to them on the platform that you have, right? And also on AudioMac, also on AudioMac. So you could check down AudioMac. Not on Deezer, not on SoundCloud, but Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and others are pretty okay. So that's it for the episode. To be honest with you, the episode had a lot of setbacks. I think I might have said it in the media. I don't know if I might have edited that part. That I recorded this whole episode before, but like I think 15 minutes or like 10 minutes or 20 minutes of the episode was cut off. I didn't know how the stuff would just like stop recording. Like that was very sad. I'm really down for some time. Brother just came and just telling me about shoelaces. Like, bro, I'm really going to like a midlife crisis right now. Telling me about these shoelaces. Like, well, luckily I was able to like get the motivation and sit down again and record this last segment of the podcast. And it might be seamless for you, might be seamless for you, but it wasn't seamless for you, right? So thank you all for listening to the podcast. I'm your host, Jabba Adeomi. Skip my government name and just call me JB, whatever. That's fine with you. And love you guys. I miss you guys. Stay safe, stay real, stay happy, stay with your future and ambitions. Let's stay with your future and ambitions. Don't lose sight on your dreams and your goals. Have ambitions, have goals. Dreams without goals are just dreams. Dreams without goals are dreams. Because dreams are just like, dreams are like a big representation, and there are a lot of things to go into making a dream come true. A lot of action, a lot of work to it. So goals are one step ahead of actually making your dreams come true. As have dreams with goals, right? And be ambitious, be visual. Think about yourself as someone who was brought to the world to make an impact, right? And you don't need to be the kind of person that lives life as a drifter, just drifting where the wind blows. You don't need to be that kind of person. You can be the kind of person that makes the rules, makes actual impact in the world. And that's like a grandfather I'll be very proud of. Might be your grandson, and I'd be like, my grandfather, I didn't really know him well, but look at what he did, how he impacted the world, and damn sure I can carry his name everywhere I go. So kind of be that person. That strives this day to be positive and stay well, stay hydrated. Very, very important. Right now I'm not hydrated well. Stay hydrated and hold on, right? I got you, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening, spending your time with me, Java, JB, wherever, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.